Hey there, welcome back to Body Led by Design. I am Melissa. I'm a registered nurse and functional health coach, and I'm somebody who's been deep in the work of helping high achieving women outsourcing their bodies to the diet industry and to start listening to yourself. So today we're kicking off a series I'm so excited about. We're going through the 5 eating archetypes, and I started it actually last week, but we're going deeper into each archetype and how the patterns show up again and again in the bodies and behaviors of women who are smart, capable, driven, and completely exhausted from trying to figure out why fueling their bodies feels so hard. And we're starting with the one I see most in my world, and at this stage in my life, I resonate more deeply with, is the high-functioning undereater. So if you've ever said, I'll eat later, I just need to get through this first, this episode is for you. So let me walk you into the morning of what it maybe looks like to be you. It's 7 a.m. You maybe just finished a workout or you hit snooze for the 3rd time because you're bone tired and you haven't slept enough. Either way, you're up and your morning is full. You're making breakfast for your kids. You're maybe answering emails on your phone while you're getting them dressed. You're mentally running through your schedule for the day, thinking about the meeting at 9 o'clock, how you're going to get there on time. Do you have time for a coffee? The deadline you have later that day, the pick up the kids, and the eating, the fueling yourself. You're just going to fit that in somewhere. Maybe you'll grab a coffee on the way to work. Maybe if things work out, you can quickly make a protein shake and something that's quick, something that's easy, something that feels like technically you fed yourself. And that has to be enough because there's simply not enough time or space for anything more. You might be someone who runs a business. You might have a high responsibility job where a lot depends on you. And honestly, you're overworked and you're under-resourced. And if somebody asks you to describe how you feel most days, behind and overwhelmed would be somewhere in the answers. But you really do want to be consistent. You really do want to feel good in your body. You'd love to work out regularly. You'd love to eat well, take care of yourself. But every time you try to add something to your plate, it falls off again. And you feel like a failure over and over again. And before we go any further, I want you to know that you are a woman whose body learned a very specific survival strategy. And that strategy is now working against you. And this pattern, this strategy, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It has roots. It's deeply ingrained in you. For many of us, it starts in school as little girls. Maybe you were the kid who worked really hard. Maybe you were the kid who pulled off long nights in high school to study and to get an A. You pushed through exhaustion to get the good grades, maybe to earn the spot on the team, to get into a certain program. And it worked. The hard work at that phase in your life, it really paid off. It gave you something. It gave you opportunity. It gave you recognition. It gave you a sense of worth and safety. So you took that strategy of pushing really hard and you applied it to everything. Work harder, produce more, do more, give more. And somewhere in there, in the proving and the achieving and the constant output, you became last on the list. And this also lives in people pleasing, a very classic thing that we as women in this day and age are very conditioned to. We want to be the person everyone can count on in having something to show for yourself so that you can feel recognized, worthy, and loved. And that conditioning runs really deep, sometimes back to the messages we often received from our family, from our culture, from simply being a woman in the world that applauds how much we can carry, how productive we can be during the day, how much can we get done, and comparing ourselves honestly on social media, comparing ourselves to other people who seem to have it all, who seem to can do it all, and seemingly have better lives than what we do. And this is where it intersects with diet culture in a way that doesn't get talked about enough. We may think, how does diet culture have anything to do with me being a high achiever or me wanting to be more productive? Diet culture taught us that eating less means more control, a better body, more love, more acceptance. And then we took that same equation and we applied it to our lives. More productivity, more output, more hustle means more worth. We do both at the expense of actually fueling our body. We under-resource our bodies in exchange of being enough. Skipping meals doesn't feel like diet culture. It feels like you're just busy. But I want you to consider, what if that busyness, that deprioritization of your own hunger is the same muscle as diet culture? You're just wearing a different outfit. The same belief that your needs matter less than your output, that fueling yourself is indulgent, that you can earn rest and nourishment later after you've done enough, because you have been doing enough, but your body needs you to believe that too. So by afternoon, what does this look like? You're tired, not just sleepy tired, but the kind of tired that feels like your brain has gone offline. It's hard to focus. It's hard to do anything productive, even though you're like, I still got to get through this day. You're probably reaching for another coffee. You're maybe swinging through Starbucks. Cravings, the sugar cravings start to become loud now. The things you would never consider eating at 8 a.m. are suddenly very appealing. You tell yourself, just push through, just get through the afternoon, pick up the kids, you can start dinner, and you do keep going. But underneath the pushing through, your body is doing something very important. It's responding to the blood sugar crash that was entirely predictable because you didn't eat a real meal at noon. Or if you did, is quick and easy, and it didn't give you the nutrition your body actually needs to have energy. And then the story you tell yourself about that. You wonder why you're not as resilient as you were 10 years ago. It wasn't this hard before. You blame your hormones because that would make sense at this point in life. And you think something has to be wrong with you. Why can't you just do this? Maybe it's perimenopause. Maybe you need another supplement. You just need more willpower in the afternoons. How do you shut off this communication from your body? And the truth is, yes, in midlife, your body is less forgiving of these gaps. That is real. But that doesn't mean that something has gone wrong. It means your body's asking for something different than what worked earlier on in their life. It needs more consistency from you, but not more discipline, not more mean girl talk, not more willpower and trying to white knuckle your way through this. It needs actual support and communication from you. The signal that resources, nutrition, rest, sunshine, they come in reliably. And right now, it's not getting that. So it's doing the best that it can with what it has. That's not your hormones failing. That's really an intelligent body trying to survive the conditions that you've given it. That's your body doing exactly what it was created to do. So the cycle of this looks like starting fresh on a Monday or the first of a month or before a vacation when you want to feel better in your clothes or put on a swimming suit. And you can do it because you're the achiever. You know how to push. You know how to work hard. You go in hard for a while and it works until it doesn't. Because what you're doing is not sustainable. You're running on the same strategy that got you here in the first place. Push harder, do more, white knuckle your way through, and eventually you just run out of energy and you crash and you stop. And then you feel like a failure, or you feel like, I just need a break from this. And you sit in that until you feel bad enough again. And then you tell yourself that anything is better than how I feel right now. So you start the cycle all over again. A new program, a new plan starting Monday, tighten the things up. But what I want you to see is that this isn't discipline. This is not motivation. It's strategy. You've been using a high output approach on a body that is constantly under-resourced. That is not sustainable. No amount of trying harder will fix a body that doesn't have what it needs to function. You wouldn't question that your car doesn't need gas, but yet we question why our bodies don't do what we want them to do when we don't give them resources. And the weight piece. I know that sometimes we can be in a loop and wondering why the scale won't move. When you do the things that you know used to work, or you do the things that you know should work. And it doesn't matter what you eat, how much you eat, how little you eat, nothing moves the scale. When you are chronically underfueled and your body is living under chronic stress, your hormones are going to do something very specific. They are conserving energy. They are holding on to body fat because your body doesn't know when consistent resources are coming in. So the on again and off again eating pattern, the restriction and then being completely off or taking a break tells your body that food is unpredictable. And an unpredictable food supply means hold on to everything. And in midlife, this is going to get really loud. Your metabolism is paying very close attention to the ratio of resources coming in versus resources going out. And if output consistently exceeds input, for the high achiever, it almost always does, your body is going to adapt. It gets incredibly efficient at doing more with less, which means the scale is going to stop doing anything. It's going to just stay the way it is. And if you don't weigh yourself, which I'm totally okay, but you notice when you put on clothes, when you look in the mirror, how you just feel when you move your body, it always feels the same. It doesn't ever feel better. Diet culture will tell you to eat less and move more. We know that, but that's the exact opposite of what your body needs right now. And it's really hard to make that make sense in our mind when we have been following diet culture rules most of our life. Your body actually needs to feel safe before it will ever let anything go. And safety does not come through restriction. So what do we do? I'm going to give you 3 things that you can start to implement this week in a slow, sustainable way that will show your body safety. And that will also start to remove some of the diet culture conditioning that you already have built in. Because we want to prove to your body and to your mind that we don't have to follow these old rules anymore in order to feel better. So number 1, eat breakfast. Oh my gosh, does that sound lame or what? I know some of you are eating some breakfast or having a protein shake or protein coffee, and you're going to call that breakfast and you're going to call it good. And I also know that some of you completely skip breakfast because you're not hungry, or you eat a very little amount because you're not hungry. And that's actually part of the problem here. When cortisol, your stress hormone, is dysregulated, which it often is in the high achieving woman because you've been pushing hard against this body, your hunger cues in the morning really go quiet. That doesn't mean that you don't need food. It means the communication channel is fuzzy. And we start giving your body the signal that this is when we eat. It's a loving action. It's kind of like our children, right? I know you don't want to do this thing, child, but I love you and I know that this is what's best for you. And we approach ourselves in the same way. We also want to make sure that this breakfast is stable for your blood sugar. This means protein, fat, and fiber together. So I want you to think eggs with some avocado and some fruit, or a smoothie with protein powder, nut butter, and greens. Not just a coffee, not just a peanut butter toast, not just a protein shake with one ingredient. We want something that stabilizes your blood sugar and has all the resources. So think it has protein, it has some fat, it has some carbohydrates, so in the form of fruits and whole foods. It also has fiber and or greens along with that. You'll notice that you naturally have so much better energy and that your hunger cues will be naturally more accurate through the day. And that's really what we are looking for. Number 2, this might be hard for you. It might be really easy. You might have it already. I don't know. But I know that this is something that I had to implement for myself, especially running my own business and having a calendar that clients had access to, is that I just never put lunch on my calendar. I never made time for lunch. I was like, I'll just eat when I have a chance. And that was like 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And in between those hours, there was no chance for me to be eating. So I had to start putting it in like a meeting. It was a reoccurring Google meeting in my calendar that I had that on every single day. And I did have to babysit myself to make sure that I stopped my day and had lunch. So don't wait for your schedule to magically open up. It won't. And if you work for someone who isn't giving you a lunch break, I want you to hear this. That is a legal right. Speaking up for your lunch break is not high maintenance. It's the bare minimum your body needs to function to focus, and to do your job well. And this is also the practice of speaking up for yourself and saying, my needs do matter. And that's not a small thing. And I know that that can feel uncomfortable, but in order for you to move forward in this relationship with your body, you have to start speaking up for yourself, or you're going to end up with the same result every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. It's never going to improve if you don't start speaking up for yourself. And number 3, bring some snacks. Most women do best with 2 snacks, one in the morning between breakfast and lunch, and one in the afternoon between lunch and dinner. And sometimes it feels like we're treating ourselves like we are children. And honestly, our bodies could use a little bit of love like we do treat our children. I brought a snack for you because I know you're kind of hungry. And I know that you don't always make the best choices when you go too long without food, just like our children. Right? We wonder why our children are having behavior issues. And then we're like, oh, are you hungry? And they're like, yes, I'm hungry. And you give them a snack, and all of a sudden they start listening and doing what they should be doing. And we are the same way. A snack doesn't have to be complicated. Bring some nuts, bring like individual packs of protein powder, bring like, if you have protein bars that agree with your tummy, because those can be a little touch and go, that agree with you, those are great as well. I love RX bars because they're just whole food ingredients. Bring homemade protein bars or balls, or purchase protein balls from the grocery store. I mean, everybody makes them now. There are easy ways to get blood sugar stable meals into your snacks into your day. A hard-boiled egg, a handful of crackers with them, a tuna packet with crackers. That's one of my favorites. And also my clients love that as well because it's portable. There are lots of ways to do this, but have snacks. Have snacks in your purse, have snacks in your car, have snacks in your desk, because it's when we go too long without eating that once we reach the food, now it feels like an out of control experience. And we end up eating anything, and anything usually looks like sugar and a heavy carbohydrate meal, which then creates blood sugar instability, and we're going to struggle for the rest of the day. So those 3 things: breakfast, schedule your lunch, and 2 snacks. And I know a lot of you would love to be an intuitive eater, which means you're just a natural eater. You're just a normal eater. The conversations that you have with yourself every single day or at the beginning of every week are surrounding food and how you're going to figure this out and how you're going to do better. You just want to know what your body needs and eat accordingly, because we're tired of rules. We're tired of plans. We're tired of tracking. And that is 100% available to you. And here's what most intuitive eating programs skip. You cannot intuitively eat a body you cannot hear. Intuitive eating is not just going off vibes. It's not just going off what feels good, what sounds good, because right now, the communication channel between you and your body is full of static. Years of dieting, years of restriction, years of skipping meals and high stress, it's created what I think of as a fuzzy radio signal. You're trying to tune in, but all you're getting is noise. So just listen to your body doesn't work when the frequency is off. So before we can get to intuitive eating, we have to do 3 things. We have to build blood sugar stability so that our hormones can communicate to us effectively, which gives us a consistent baseline to go off of. We also have to bring in nervous system work, because a dysregulated nervous system cannot accurately read hunger and fullness cues. And then we have to start removing the diet culture conditioning from your mind and your body. The beliefs, the patterns, the rules that are running in the background and distorting the signal. And when we do that work, something finally shifts in the right direction. We actually move out of the stuck patterns we've always been in into clarity. The radio signal clears and you start to hear your body. Not perfectly, not all at once. You don't just all of a sudden wake up on a Monday and you're like, okay, it all just makes sense right now. It's a path, it's a progress, it's a moving towards. And then intuitive eating isn't a practice that you force. It becomes how you naturally eat because your body knows. That's the thing. It's like we want to really tune into the wisdom of this body. And if our body already knows and already has the exact right answers for us, we need to tune that radio signal to be able to hear it. We just have to clear the interference that's currently there so you can hear it. And so here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. You're not undisciplined. You're not a failure. You're not broken. These are all diet culture conditioning things that have been told to you about your eating patterns. You're just a really high functioning woman whose body has been running an outdated strategy. One that served you once before is actually now costing you energy, consistency, your relationship with food and your own body, and ultimately yourself. The answer isn't another plan with strict protocols. It's not an app telling you exactly what to eat. It's not starting over on a Monday with more rules and like hoping that you can make it through being on track. The answer is learning to work with your body, to clear the noise, to build the trust, and to become someone who knows exactly what she needs and give it to herself without the guilt, without extra rules and restrictions, without starting over and over and over again. And that's what my program Body Wisdom is built for. Body Wisdom is my 3-month program for women who are ready to step out of diet culture for good and into a real, lasting, body-led relationship with food. We go through 6 principles of intuitive eating. We tune the frequency so you can actually hear your body. It's grounded in biology, nervous system, hormonal health, and the kind of self-trust that doesn't fall apart on a Friday at 4 p.m. And right now you can head to the show notes and you can sign up for the wait list. Body Wisdom is going to open for enrollment on March 24. And so you'll want to get your name on that wait list because you'll get the lowest pricing that it will ever be. Because as a founding member and in a beta program, you actually are a participant in the creation of the program. So it's actually all going to be live. So live video lessons, live group coaching, every single part of this, you are very close to me in the program and in the process of it. Now, this isn't all new concepts. It's not like I just sat here and made it all up. This is all based on years of coaching women, years of running into roadblocks with clients and figuring it out. And to be completely honest, creating an intuitive eating program and creating intuitive eaters. I've already done this many, many times, creating intuitive eaters on accident. I never set out in my coaching world and with my clients to create intuitive eaters. I set out to help them reach their goals. But what happened accidentally and on the side was that they were intuitive eaters. And I was like, holy moly, how this is happening. We have created this. And if you actually go back in my podcast, I can't remember how long ago it was, it was probably a couple of years ago. I was full on and that being an intuitive eater was only for special people and that we shouldn't actually try to be intuitive eaters because it was not something that our world was created for. And inadvertently, I started creating all these intuitive eaters. So now we're doing the program live. We're having group coaching. So basically, it just means that you're getting founding member pricing. It'll be the lowest it ever is because it's a brand new program and because I want your feedback in real time to help me create this program as well. So right now you can head to the show notes or you can go to melissaikewellness.com/body-wisdom and you can sign up for the wait list and or head to Instagram and you can DM me wisdom. I'll send it right through the links and or go to the show notes of the podcast and you can sign up there. Enrollment will be open on March 24. If you're on the wait list, you also get extra access to bonuses for simply being on the wait list and showing me interest and putting your name on there. So if you're anything in this episode like I was describing in your life, this is your invitation to sign up for the wait list. So I can't wait to see you there. I would love to hear what you think of this episode of being a high achiever. Make sure to rate and review the podcast as well. That helps me get it in front of eyes just like yours and ears just like yours. All right, my friends, next week we're going to talk about the next archetype. And also just a reminder, if you're a high achieving woman, there's also going to be more archetypes that you deeply resonate with. We aren't just one, we're a little bit of each. So make sure to come back next week for the next archetype and I will see you soon.